Well, good morning, Mr. Shin. Good morning, everybody.
Sure. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. Obviously, we're waiting on a few more people to attend or to sign in, but we can get started in the meantime. Welcome to my home office, everybody, here in Las Vegas. Don, your home office in PA, the
Yep.
new virtual reality of the world for a little while. It's good to see people joining. We've still got a few more still to join, so we'll wait for just another moment or so.
Brad, are you pressing record? Should I remind you of that?
Already happening there, Mr. Shin.
You are the man. Thank you, sir.
I like the fact that GoToWebinar starts recording the moment you press go. You know, it's not like Zoom. Zoom's very good, but you still have to press the record button. So, all right, I think we're getting very close to having everyone here. I've got a few of the coaches I can see. Don, you've got control of the coaches as well, to be able to bring everyone off to have a chat with people. I might start out and then we'll have a few of the others put on their cams. Tom Doherty, I see, is here. Who else we got in terms of coaches already here? So we'll make sure we use the most of their time. That would be great. Do you have slides to show, Don, or what's the?
I do not, sir. Nope. Okay, I thought we would go through intros and then have you lead us in, and then it's really open for Q&A after we get through the intros.
Yeah, maybe if I just, while we wait for everyone to arrive, if I just, actually you can just take your screen share off then, and that way we'll get to each person showing their webcam when they come on board. If I can just take a couple of minutes before everyone gets here and just sort of share just a few of the things that we've been noticing. 2 interviews I did yesterday with coaches. And it's been really interesting to watch the level of living of the vision of Action Coach. I guess that's probably the simplest way to say it, where the level of desire to help business owners has had our coaches around the world increase their market presence massively, both from a personal point of view, but also the number of strategic partnerships that are showing up and wanting to help teach. So the number of strategic partners is quite phenomenal right now. And access to those strategic partners. I was chatting with one coach yesterday who their chamber for them from that particular perspective. Also, I think that the speed up of the virtualness of this whole thing has been quite phenomenal. So we will get to intros and then we will I think we've probably got 1 or 2 more coaches coming on board. So let me start with the coaches doing an intro and the other Action Coach team that are on here doing their intros. So let me start with Tom Doherty. Tom, do you want to throw your screen cam on and come and introduce yourself?
You have me muted.
I got you now. There you go.
There we go. I'm not sure why my webcam's not on.
No, I'd have to make you a presenter. That means I'd have to make everyone a presenter, which probably wouldn't work on Coach's system.
Yeah, no, it won't work. But yeah, good morning, everybody. My name's Tom Doherty. I've been an Action Coach for about 3.5 years. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, where I see Don's wearing a sweater. Here it'll probably be 100 degrees this week. I know it was 105 this week. And with the pandemic going on, it's been a awesome time to be a coach, good and bad, but the people are really stepping up, and it's really hitting their dissatisfaction. So people that think they didn't need a coach now are reaching out, and so that's been a great opportunity. Thanks for all the videos you've been making, Brad. It gives us a lot of great new material to just put out there, or change it. Some I just regurgitate myself and make my own video, but I can't talk quite as fast as you and have the same stories, but I make it mine, and people really seem to get that. I did screw up the week before last, and I forgot to hit record on Zoom. And so, because people asked to share the webinar, and I didn't hit record. So that was my big BFO to make a system for my webinars. So thanks for having me on call today.
No, it's great, buddy, and I understand that exactly. So it's definitely a way to remind ourselves of these things. So let me get our Chief Operating Officer, Ken Zalazny, to do his intro next. Ken, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me, Brad?
Yep.
Okay, I don't have a webcam outlook here.
No, it's all right. No one will other than me and Don, because I got to make everyone a presenter to do that. So.
Fair enough. All right, so I'm Ken Zalazny, the Chief Operating Officer for ActionCOACH Global. I started my journey with ActionCOACH back in 2003 and basically bought a franchise up in Canada. So I have a Canadian accent, like our founder has an Australian accent. I started building, I was one of the first early adopters in 2008 as well. So I built one of the first firms and was really successful with my business partner. I went basically to, after building that up with my business partner, he decided to go back to Australia himself. And I thought, okay, I kind of started to disband this and go into a little bit of semi-retirement until our founder decided that semi-retirement wasn't good enough for Ken Zalazny. So he asked me to come down to the global office and start working on the future of ActionCOACH, which is the firm development. So I built up our firm development to coach, train, and help build them in all of our different countries. Spent a lot of time in the Far East doing that. Out in Vietnam and Japan and China, and building up that part of our world. As you know, we're in over 80 countries. And yeah, so one thing led to another, and currently now I'm looking after the global operations down here in Vegas, and have moved my wife and myself down here to continue this amazing journey and making a difference in a global impact. So that's me at the short of it. I also have a firm here in Las Vegas as well, so trying to build that up and run that remotely with coaches as well. So different levels of experience there, but on both sides, the commercial side, the franchisor side, and the franchisee side. So that's a little bit about me.
Thank you, Ken. Let me get Carmen, our Chief Marketing Officer, to jump on and be ready for taking questions.
Can you hear me, Brad?
We got you.
Wonderful. I'm really pleased to be on the call this morning. I am the Chief Marketing Officer, and I've been with the company as one of Brad's executives since September of 2018, so I'm the relative newbie. I've been in marketing for over 30 years. It's a lot more than that, but I try not to show my age. In all different forms of marketing, and I've worked for companies like Mars Candy, 7-Eleven, the local Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce, and it's given me a very broad and varied background when dealing with different types of marketing strategy, research, and creative development. Currently, I am in charge of the main ActionCOACH website, social media, and of all the content creation that goes out into the marketplace. The reason I joined ActionCOACH was because I saw an ad for the position, and I did a little research, and what hooked me was the 14 points of culture. Those 14 points really resonated with me. It's kind of the way I live my life, and I knew that I needed a place in this organization, and I was lucky enough to join it, and it has been a life-changing experience for me. So I hope this is a really positive experience for everyone, and I look forward to the rest of the day. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you, Carmen. Let's go to some of our other master franchisees. Craig Holmberger. Craig's been with me for like ever. You're self-muted too, Craig. There you go.
Yeah, Craig Holmberger. I'm in Columbus, Ohio, master franchise owner, along with my wife Annette, for 4 states here in the Midwest. And yeah, I've been here for almost forever. I think Don Shin came in about 6 or 8 months before me here in the States. And as Brad was opening it up to the US, I escaped the Fortune 200 world, lots of travel, lots of corporate politics. And my little girl, Lauren, who's now graduated college, learned how to walk on day 2 of a 2-week business trip. on an acquisition project I was a big part of back in my corporate days, and that was the beginning of the end of the corporate world. And I realized I needed to do something I really believed in that took advantage of my passions for business and growing companies and helping people and making a difference and working with leaders. And thank God Brad was expanding into the U.S. at that time, where I likely would have bought a different kind of a business and probably would have needed an action coach along the way. But this is a life-changing business. And as Brad mentioned, the living into the vision of Action Coach and world abundance through business reeducation, it is a pleasure to call the people around the world that I get to call colleagues, my colleagues, because it's the best group of people I've ever worked with in my life. So if this ends up being the right fit for you, it's an amazing business. So.
Thank you, Craig. Let me go over to Kelly. Kelly, jump on, give us your answers, and then we'll see who else I got on here to introduce.
Thank you, Brad.
Go to questions and time.
My name is Kelly Pites. I am the master licensee for Virginia, Kentucky, West Virginia, DC, and Maryland. Just picked up DC and Maryland at the beginning of this year. I've been with Action Coach for a little over 2 years, and it's been an incredible journey for me. My background is government service. I spent 24 years in the Army as an aviator, and then another 5 years in government service, and really wanted something that had balance, something where I could kind of live a life of balance and grow a great business and live the abundance we talk about and give back to people. In the military, it's a pretty great culture for the most part, and I thought it would be hard to match that, but I can tell you with Action Coach, it has surpassed that with the type of teamwork that we have across the globe, and the way everybody just helps each other out. It's an amazing organization, and would do it all over again in a heartbeat.
Well, thank you, Kelly. And Don, before the other coaches will be coming on about a half an hour, I'll get you to introduce yourself, Don, seeing as not everybody knows you. And then I'll take it away from there and take any questions. So if anyone has questions for me, start typing them in now, and then we'll go to questions for all the other coaches and MLs following that. That'd be great.
Thanks, Brad. Yeah, I was Brad's very first franchise partner in the United States back in 2000, and won a lot of awards. A lot of my coach franchise partners were on stage over the years. This was all after 23 years in the corporate rat race, climbing the corporate ladder and realizing that I had the ladder on the wrong wall. So joined Action Coach in 2000 to advance, or to go a little bit beyond and outside of the action world. Cashed in my investments, which shows the value of the investments. Did that in 2015, but just couldn't stay away. Had the opportunity to come on Brad's direct staff as CEO of North America, which brings me back into the community that I love, as well as take advantage of the advancements that the company's made over the last 3 years. Our firm model, our investment in technologies were real attractions to coming back. So back in an executive role on Brad's staff.
Thank you, Don. Yeah, so gang, as you type in questions, I'll actually bring you off to speak through those questions for those of you that are doing that, so that rather than just have a dry old me session, we actually have a few people chatting. Michael, you've popped your question in first. Michael Connor, let me bring you off mute. Hey, Michael, how you doing? Tell us a little bit about where you are and what brings you to the call today.
Hi, Brad. It's nice to actually talk with you. I've been on a number of your videos over the last 6-8 weeks, just checking things out.
People do get sick of my voice after a little while.
So I am in the Alpharetta, Milton, Georgia area, just north of Atlanta.
Yep.
One of the fastest growing areas in the country. And
yes.
About 2 months ago, I was chief of staff with Fiserv in their fraud division. And a year ago, Fiserv bought another company called First Data, which processes almost every card swipe of everybody in the world. And with that acquisition, they restructured, and just before COVID broke out, I got a restructure package. And so have been trying to figure out what I'm doing next with my life. Actually, about 12 years ago, in 2008, I had left PwC and wasn't sure what I was going to do. And I actually looked at ActionCOACH back then, and ended up going to work for Nielsen and having 9 years at Nielsen. So it's been something that's been in the back of my head for quite a while. And now I'm revisiting it and talking with lots of folks. Have talked with Don and working with Nick quite a bit. So just getting to that point of whether I'm going to pull the trigger or not, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and your question's an interesting one. What's the biggest challenge a firm owner faces in the first 6 months, and how do we support you through that? So there's two types of challenges for a firm owner in that first 6 months. The first is for those who've never owned a business before. For those who've never owned a business before, it's that adjustment into self-determination. It's that full adjustment into, and it's the emotional thing, Michael. Like when you imagine when you're at Pfizer and you got to cut a check for 20 grand to do something. Boom, easy done, just pay the bill, it's in the budget. Now, the moment it becomes your money, all of a sudden there's a whole different game to play, and there's a psychological game of, oh, it's my money, do I invest it, how do I invest it, all that sort of stuff. So that's the first major challenge that we find supporting our franchise partners through when they're brand new in with us. And most of the support of that is actually done through our other franchise partners. So the guys and gals that are in the same situation as you, that are maybe 6 or 12 months ahead of you, that have done it. And we find that they work best in that because it's closest to them. So for me to try and coach you through self-ownership after 27, 28 years of self-directed work, it's like, yeah, I've forgotten what that actually feels like. So we try and get you. Does that make sense? So we get you with people that have only about 6 or 12 months ahead of you on that one?
Absolutely, yeah.
And then the second biggest challenge is that of going out and getting customers. Now, some have no challenge with that because it's been their whole life. Like a lot of people who join us, it's like that. They're just natural born, go out and get it. They're natural in that sales role. And what we got to do for them is actually coach them into understanding that we don't actually sell coaching. We coach people how to buy coaching. That way they stay with us a lot longer, if that makes sense. It's a lot easier. It's a lot, but we got to tone down their sales nature and increase their coach nature. If that's I'm assuming not much in a sales background for yourself in there.
No.
So then for yourself, what we've got to do is then look at the marketing and sales aspect of it. And we want you to bring on a marketing person from day one, because the marketing is, from day one, it's really just a do it thing. It's just the amount of things that need doing. And in this virtual world, that's become even easier than it was before. It's become so much simpler because two things. One, it's limited the number of marketing activities that can be done because, hey, well, we can't go out and do those sort of marketing activities, or people aren't willing to be a part of that style of marketing activity anymore. I don't think we'll have live seminars back for a little while, even though some people are confident that. I don't think we'll have live seminars back for a while. But the interesting thing is, I was chatting with a coach 2 days ago who his attendance at live seminars used to be around 12 to 15 people at live seminars that he did every 2 weeks. He's now doing live webinars every week. So he's gone from every 2 weeks to every week, and he's getting 40 to 50 people at his live webinars, and he's still converting the same number to one-on-one conversations. So it's interesting from that perspective. So we'll have to get you out there teaching more and in front of people more and all that sort of stuff, Michael. I think that's sort of the biggest thing. And I've taught everyone from day one, you have to, in the beginning, you just have to make up in numbers what you lack in experience. And that's going to be the case for everyone, no matter what business they start. So does that answer the question, buddy?
Yeah, thanks.
Perfect. Well, I look forward to having you on the team. Now, back in the day, you must have spoken with Pat Cohn. Was it Pat and Jackie?
So I was with Pfizer, not Pfizer.
Yeah, but no, when you came to talk with ActionCOACH back 10, 15 years ago, that must have been Pat and Jackie.
I don't even recall. my memory, you know.
Yeah, no, that's okay. They were on the team for quite a long time. They're now based down in Texas in semi-retirement mode. So having a good time. Thanks for being on the chat today. Look forward to meeting with you live as we speak some stage in the near future. Let me jump over to Bryce. Bryce, let me bring you off mute. Hey, Bryce, give us the intro, buddy, and let us know what the question is.
Hey, thanks, Brad. This is Bryce Jorgensen. I'm down in Las Cruces, New Mexico. I'm actually a professor. I teach personal finance, try to keep those students graduating with the least amount of debt possible and not buying too expensive of vehicles so they drive something better than I do. So yeah, I do a little bit of life coaching on the side as well. Really enjoy the coaching. I've been in sales kind of before I went and got my PhD. And so I just have found that everywhere I go, I kind of see inefficiencies, and I'm always saying, you know, if they just did this and this and this, everything would run way better. Kind of the Lean Six Sigma type thing. And my wife kind of gets tired of hearing me say stuff like that. But I guess you kind of answered one of these questions. I have two here. One is, what are some of the challenges and successes you're finding in helping businesses during the pandemic? And the second are, how are new coaches marketing and finding clients when they can't deliver these, you know, live group presentations or get in front of chambers and other things like that? You did mention the live webinars, but if there's any other ways to do that, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, look, the interesting thing is I've been trying to get my coaches to use virtual methodologies for the last 5-10 years, pushing and shoving and cajoling. And, you know, many coaches were of the mindset of, look, you know, being on the phone just isn't as good, or being over the thing, it's just not as good as face to face and all this sort of stuff. And in fact, last week? Last week I was chatting with a group of the coaches, and one of them turned and said to the whole other group, you know what? I was so scared of going viral. This thing just made me, and I don't think I'm ever going back. And it was like, gee, I wished I'd said that before. You know, it's like, I want to, it's like one of those things where you sit there and go, but the whole viral nature of the world has been sped up 5 to 10 years with this thing. I look at it like one of my other businesses, our restaurant. We're sitting there looking right now at, okay, how do we go contactless in the restaurant? Because we know people won't want to pick up a menu that was touched by someone else in many cases. We know people, you know, they'll be looking at what is the safety and the cleanliness and all of that sort of stuff, and how we have to have, like, we literally have to have 2 people on staff whose whole job is just to continually walk around and disinfect surfaces that are communal touch. We've ripped out the doors and putting in automatic open doors on bathrooms, on kitchen doors, on all of this sort of stuff, so that no one has to touch a doorway or touch a thing. And, you know, it's the world has shifted, and the virtual nature of the world plays into our business in such a way that I could never have imagined how this such an awful occurrence has turned into such a positive step for our organization, for our people. That to me is really phenomenal. Let me bring Tom off. Tom, could you just answer that from your perspective, buddy, as a coach out there doing this every day?
Yeah, I think I actually love it, you know, because half of my clients I would see on Zoom, the other half would want to come to me live in person. And even though I have a appointment on the calendar, they always, even if I saw them live, they would have a Zoom appointment link attached with that. If I'm on vacation, they're on vacation, they can't make it across town. It's just way more efficient. And now it's trained my clients to, hey, this is the way it is. And we had our first growth club that was just done virtually, 36 people. And it was awesome, done in like half the time. It didn't cost me any money.
That's the other thing, buddy. We're finding that the time decrease in training because of the intensity of Zoom and these meetings is phenomenal. How about your coaching sessions? Are you seeing shortened coaching sessions during this time, or still the same length?
A little bit more concise. And that's all me. It's not them. So it's all my mindset that, oh, I got to give them an hour for their value, but that's not really the case. It's more like, you know, let's the old pit stop analogy, you know, get the race car driver in here, what's working, what's not, make some tweaks and get them back out there. And I got to get up and go to the bathroom in between clients now. I'm drinking so much water, sitting here at the desk, and I have my clients are stacked one after the hour, Tuesdays and Thursdays completely full. So I can't do an hour. I have to be 50, 55 minutes. So, but I thought it was my best coaching session last week was like 30, 35 minutes. I'm like, are we good? And the guy's like, yeah, I know exactly what I need to do. I got one thing of homework to do. You usually give me a whole bunch. Boom, I got this down. I'm like, go to it. So yeah, it's just better.
What about your marketing? What about marketing perspective now from your side of things? How are you feeling with the marketing?
Well, everybody's responding to Facebook posts because they're all watching Facebook. LinkedIn, you have a lot of people on LinkedIn, but they might not check their LinkedIn for weeks, but now they're checking it daily because they're home.
Actually, I've noticed that a lot. My LinkedIn is up massively from that perspective.
So that's been really good. I mean, I put out a last minute webinar a week or two ago and got 30 people, like bam. Like if I were to put on a live event to get 30 people would be a huge success, and it would take me 4 to 6 weeks to make that happen. And I was able to do it like in 24, 48 hour turnaround. And
what's your conversion rate into conversations? Is your conversion rate to conversations still as high as your live events, or is it a little bit lower or even higher? Where are you finding it?
It depends. It's a little bit lower, you know, but the conversion rate is a little bit lower, but that's really me. I'm working on some things. I think my call to action at the end was a little bit off. I really went for a big step, you know, sign up for my program at $500 instead of, hey, let's have a 30-minute call, which comes with the workshop. So I'll be changing that to have the call. I went kind of big on that. And for the market,
actually, if you watch that interview I did a couple of days ago with Philip Budd, Philip did a great close at the end of his. I put it in the Facebook group a couple of days ago. So
okay, I'll check that out.
That's a good answer for you.
But yeah, I think marketing is just a lot better. Like you can get with, hey, I have this webinar I'm going to do, send it out to all the chambers pass it on. Strategic partners, I'm making my list of strategic partners you're reminding us of a couple of weeks ago. And they're like, yeah, they want to give value to their clients. So for instance, CPAs. CPAs, you know, besides just doing their taxes, what else can they do? Hey, you're getting a free coaching call, a free webinar, a lot of learnings from a great coach at ActionCOACH. And they love that because they're just giving value for free and you're doing the work. And I find
that of all the coaches I've been chatting to lately, they've been getting through to CPAs who before were, let's just say, a closed door, all of a sudden are now chatting to us. Are you finding more of that, or what's your experience with that?
Yeah, the CPAs they used to have all the answers and now they don't, because usually it's just numbers. And I'll tell you, this isn't just about numbers right now. This is about mostly mindset. You know, you as a leader, you can go 1, 2, or 3 ways, and that's going to determine the outcome of your business. And no CPA is going to share with you what that is because they don't know themselves. Yeah. So,
well, they keep coming to us for advice right now too. Buddy, while I got you, what else would you like to share with everyone on this? Because your journey has been a phenomenally fun one with us, but also it's a successful one. So what would you like to share to people that you think are the keys to your success so far?
Yeah, I think the key to my success has just been like being tenacious, not giving up, just keep moving forward, and learning how to be the coach. For me, I was the salesman trying to sell coaching, like you just said. Having to, sometimes I get too salesy, and I've let that go. I'm good with that now, and I have to be the coach. I might be wearing the friend hat with clients too much sometimes, and I have to distinguish what hat I'm wearing when I'm with people, you know. Yeah, I think just doing as much learning as you can, but also having a balance of like when to learn and then when to do, and just get out there. Like right now, I'm trying to like not learn as much, you know, because we've had tons of learning. We can sit here and watch a ton of videos, but like let's take the video and get it out there and do the marketing, because I really feel right now more than ever in business, it's like we have to put on our superhero cape and go help as many people as we can. And I'm usually not in the help mode. I'm like, I want to help business owners, but I want to help business owners that are good business owners become great business owners. But my messaging has had to change from that up the mountain coach to the helping everybody as much as they can, even if it's just get on my free webinar, get in a plan, just to help them, because I know, like Giver's Gain, it'll come back to me, and there's going to be a lot of people that'll come on board as one-to-one clients or getting in. I'm taking Action Club right now online, so like with Kajabi and the whole thing, right? So we're like building that out right now, so we have something for everybody, and just leveraging my programs.
Brilliant. If anyone has a specific question for Tom, please type it in right now. Tom, one question I have for you before, because I know we've only got you for a little bit here. One question I do have for you is how many clients have gone on to not being paying during this time? Have you had any that have had to step back and say, listen, I can't afford you because I'm shut down? I know a few coaches have had that around the world. And how are you supporting them through this?
Yeah, I have had 2 clients. They're both partners in a law firm. On St. Patrick's Day evening, I got an email from them that saying they were quitting coaching right now because of what's going on, because one of their guys freaked out. They kind of ghosted me, and I wasn't getting back to them, and I was really upset mentally and emotionally, because one of the guys is a great client and a great friend of mine. And for his partner to write just an email to me, and these guys have been coaching with me almost 3 years, and we've taken them from, $700,000 a year to 3.2 million, a team of 2 to a team of 18, and it's changed their world. And I've had to just get over that. But then I found out that it was just the one partner that freaked. Now the other partner wants to coach with me again, but he's parting ways from his fear-focused leadership style of his partner. So I have this guy waiting in the wings. They're going to be divvying up the company. So one company was laying off all of their workers, 20 workers in their factory. And I found that out after the fact. So we immediately called them up and pivoted and got sewing machines in there, and they're sewing masks and selling masks in Mississippi to hospitals and everywhere else out there. And we've got all 20 people back to work. That guy, we got them the PPP loan, the EIDL loan, and they've had an influx of about 400K. So this was a guy that would have quit coaching altogether. I charge him $2,500 a month. His business probably would have stopped and probably gone out of business. And so this has made him refocus. And so I've been pretty fortunate in that round. Just the 2 attorneys and one's coming back on, but I've picked up more. The net is I've picked up more than I lost. So
yeah, I think every coach that I've spoken with has had to help save some businesses at some point in the last few weeks. I mean, like as you said, these people they just went into shutdown mode, and it was like, dang, come on, no, we're not shutting down, we're pivoting, we're changing, we're doing something, we're keeping ahead of this game, we're not dying.
Yeah,
and I think that's been one of the most joyous things that Buddy, thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it, and really appreciate everything you're doing down there, helping the business owners of Arizona. So keep up the great work.
You're welcome, Brad. If anybody wants to reach out to me, have them reach out. Tom Doherty at Action Coach. I'm willing to take calls. I got to jump on another coaching call here, and have a great day, guys.
Thank you, my friend. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
I know that we do have another couple of coaches joining us shortly, so I'll take a few questions before I have to bounce at the end of the hour, and then I'll hand it back to Don and the other coaches. Let me look. I got Hunter here. Let me bring Hunter off from typing questions in. I got a bunch of them here, gang. I'll try and get to all of them as soon as I can. Are you there, Hunter?
I'm here, yes.
Hey, buddy, give us your quick story, and then we'll get into the question.
Yeah, so I'm in the greater Nashville, Tennessee area. I've been working with Don and the team over the last several weeks to
one of my most favorite parts of the world, Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm born and raised here, moved away to Arkansas and Texas for a few years, and then moved back about 4 years ago, to be closer to family. So I've been working with Don,
We
just
find,
kind
we
of.
find a lot of coaches, buddy, end up joining us for that reason. They want to get back to where they can be with family. One of my longest serving coaches, Ian McFarlane, Ian's been with me forever. Every year I talk him out of retirement. He was the same. He wanted to get back, be with the family, and do all that stuff. And I appreciate that thinking and that reasoning. So, yeah, tell us.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, tell us, where were you before here? What brought you to thinking about us?
So the genesis of all this for me was back in October. I was let go from a family manufacturing organization that I'd been with for about 3.5 years, and thought I was going to have ownership and be CEO one day, and just we couldn't get the company operating in a steady financial pattern, and basically the bank came calling, and the CEO had to do something, and so I was at the time I was essentially the only overhead not in the plant. And so I'd pivoted into like more of a sales and supplier development role, which was a good experience for me. It wasn't long enough, but anyway, I have gone through the last several months, started a podcast and kind of my own coaching brand, still very, very early in that. And through it all, just decided that it wasn't the right fit for me to go back to the organizations that I've been interviewing with or applying for. And just it never has felt right. The conversations and the interviews, just I don't know, just not the right feel, not the right culture. And found Action Coach on LinkedIn, and my podcast is called Catalyst. It's all about action, and I think just the heart of what I've been trying, the message I've been trying to spread, and the people I've been trying to help is very much in line with the direction you have your company going, and so it feels like the right platform for me to pivot my career with, and good long term for myself professionally and for the family. And so just excited to kind of learn more, and hopefully the next few weeks play out in favor for both of us.
Yeah, look, I love that background. I love that thinking, because at some point, and I was lucky that when I was a young man, I was not very good at keeping jobs, and so I term that as lucky. And people say, "What do you mean by that?" Well, I got fired a lot. That's what I mean by that. I was that very brash young man that if the boss was not that clever, I would make sure he knew that. And so therefore, I was the one that didn't keep jobs too well. But what it led me to has always been in business myself. And so I never had to make the leap sort of thing that a lot of people do.
Sure.
My leap was predetermined, I guess is probably the simplest way I can put it. And I know that's always a challenge. So if you've got a couple of questions here, which one of those do you want me to focus in on most in the time I got left here today?
The second one, what aspect of onboarding are you most,
Yeah, look, when we bring a coach on board, I want to tell you, like Tom, who just left us there, I watch these, and it seems weird, but I watch my coaches become great business people. I watch them move from joining us to becoming really strong business people, not just strong coaches, because you can go anywhere and learn to be a coach. What we teach at Action Coach isn't how to be a coach. What we teach is how to build a business coaching business. And there's a major distinction between the two. Anyone can go and learn coaching sort of thing. And that doesn't mean they have the ability to keep clients, doesn't mean they have the ability to get clients. It doesn't mean they have all of those other abilities that we like to look for. So for us, it's really about that whole process of getting and keeping. But for me, I'm most proud of watching my coaches become amazing. Now, as an organization, one of the greatest things is that we are all business coaches. So by nature, every member of my team by nature loves helping other people. It's just part of who we are as a company. And so when that's in the DNA of the organization, it's like, this is really cool in the way that we just have some of the best of the best of the best helpers of people on our team. And I don't know how to put it other than you can't be more, you can't join an organization. I've said there's 3 things you get when you join our organization that you can't pay for, but you get them. One is that team, the team of people that they just want to help. As Tom you heard Tom leaving the call there. There's no prompting to that. It's just, hey, if anyone needs help, reach out, give me a call, I'll take a call, I'll do whatever, because that's just the nature of the humans in our organization. And that's why we spend a lot of time on recruiting, looking for that, because people always ask me, well, what makes a successful coach? There's only one thing other than the normal business stuff, like I'm a business person and I'm a self-start, all that is, it doesn't matter what business you're in, that stuff you have to be. But in our organization, the difference between someone who's successful and someone who's not is someone who loves helping others. They just love it. They just do it. They would do it whether or not they were getting paid for it, type thing. And that's where we see the biggest growth rate of the coaches is doing that. Now, the second thing that makes me proud is when they start. I'll tell you a story. So one of our coaches, Carrie Kaufman, down in San Diego, tells the story of one of her clients who is very proud of the fact that his first goal he set. Now I forget his chimney sweep business. Getting up in chimneys and all that stuff. So the first goal he set was the day he would hang up his boots, the day he would no longer need to wear work boots. And I love that with my coaches. I love, well, when is the day when you're going to have someone else do the coaching for you? And not just all the coaching, but the lower level clients. There's a lot of clients out there, and our ladder of products and our suite of services start from $100 a month and go through to $10,000 a month. That's basically the way we want every single coach to do it. And some coaches say to me, well, I don't have a $10,000 a month program. Well, then you'll never sell one. So make sure you have the $10,000 a month program in there. And amazingly enough, once they add a $10,000 a month program, guess what happens? They find a client with that. And that's really about how they sell their business. So someone who wants to build a business for sale is that level program. But you've got a lot of people that want to do that $100 a month program, the book club or profit club, and that's what they can afford. Because if you look at it, 80% of businesses out there, the small businesses, they can afford a program somewhere between $100 and say $1,500 a month. That's what they can afford. Then 20 to 30% of businesses out there can afford a program $2,000 and up type thing. So we got to have all different scales. Now, the interesting part is when people come to join us, they think, oh, all I want to do is that one-to-one stuff. Well, the most money per hour is actually made on all of the group programs. And you heard Tom there saying he's adding the group coaching in a virtual format. Well, that's where the vast majority of the success comes from when you have those group programs. Because here's what I learned way back when. If I put someone in a $100 a month program and I'm any good, it's only going to be a year or two before they're a $2,000 a month program. Does that make sense, what I'm saying about that? So what then makes me proud is not just bringing them on board and having them become that, but then them doing the same thing. Because I've told all my coaches for forever and a day, my job is to get the first 1,000 people out there. Your job is to get the next 10,000. Because I think every firm that joins us, let me be real blunt. Most of the coaches who've been with me 2+ years now are way better coaches than I was back when I started bringing people on to join me and have them as coaches. Because, simply because of the nature of our training and the nature of the beast right now. When I started, there were no systems. I mean, I literally had one system document when I first started, and it was a 4-page questionnaire that we still use a version of that today in our sales process. So that was literally the only system document I had on day one. Yeah, so listen, our team, when I watch someone go and during the 10-day training, and it's really unique now, we've just finished the first 2 virtual 10-day trainings. We're starting, Japan starts its first virtual training for franchisees. I know the US has theirs starting in, I believe it's either next week or the week after is the US virtual training. And I sit down and I look at it and I think, wow, who would have ever thought we could train people to become coaches virtually? But here's the thing that for many years I've been most proud of. When people complete that 10-day training, they use verbiage like, that was better than my MBA. I can't believe I've never learned this material. I can't believe I didn't know this stuff. And yeah, that to me is very exciting part of it, because we take people who've got 20, 30 years business experience and we teach them what this really is and how you really get success in business. Because you got to remember, like pulling profits, where is it? That way, that book. reverse camera angle
that's
messed me up right here. That book is a 2-year culmination of studying our highest level clients and what they're doing for success. But when I wrote the business coach, we'd already coached 13,000 companies to success. So we already had the methodology, the formula, the recipe or the system for success for business. And there was the system, and that's how it worked. So brilliant. Thank you, buddy. Some great questions.
Yeah, I appreciate the energy you brought to that answer. Thank you.
Look, you know, it's my coaches have said to me in the last little while, Brad, we've never seen you more passionate about this thing. And I said, well, you did. You saw me in 2008. And a bunch of them said, well, we weren't here in 2008. I'm like, oh, okay. Because in 08, and the virtualness of the world didn't exist in 08. So I couldn't help as many people as I'm helping right now. In 08, I literally did an 80-city worldwide tour. I spent $1 million traveling the world, doing 80 cities, getting to every business owner I could. Now, I've done the exact same thing, but in 6 weeks, I've seen more people than I did in the entire year of 08. BNI had me on their call the other day, Business Networks International, which is one of the biggest networking groups in the world. They had 5,000 people on the actual webinar, plus 100,000 people watched the webinar after the webinar. I've done a free 10-day course that we're now at over 6,000 business owners have done the free 10-day online course to how to survive and thrive this pandemic. My personal webinars have reached another 20,000 just live. The first webinar I did, Survive and Thrive, is now over 13,000 views on YouTube. I've been able to help hundreds of thousands, not the tens of thousands I did back then. And so that's why my passion levels are different, because where back in 08, I had to spend $1 million, travel the world, spend a year off from my family, teaching what recession business can be booming right now. And now I've done it this time, and in 6 weeks, I've surpassed that by tenfold. And that's what all of our coaches are seeing, that this virtual nature, we're surpassing the numbers we can help. And it's quite phenomenal in that way. Hunter, thanks for being here. I look forward to chatting with you. And as you're going to be in Nashville, I will get to see you more than most, because one of my daughters is going to school in Boston. The other's going to school in Alabama. And my wife and I have a bunch of great friends and a bunch of great country music artist friends in Nashville. So we'll probably end up buying a home there or getting out on the lake there with one of my good buddies and see. So we'll see you a little more than we'll see most people.
Yeah, look forward to it. Thank you.
Take care. Let me jump to whoever's next on questions. Let me see if Susan has joined yet. No. Don, can you just check on when the coaches are coming in for me?
Susan is on as a panelist, so I think
she's not as a panelist. Excellent. Yeah. Let me get Susan off of mute then. That's why I can't see you.
Peg should pop in, I believe, as well.
Susan, hey, how you doing? Please come on down and introduce yourself to everybody. You can throw your screen cam on if you can. There you go.
Oh, hang on, I need to.
You got it on reverse.
Reverse it. That's weird. All right.
So,
while
you work out now. See, just by the way, you've got the gloomy weather here. I'm here in Vegas. You can see behind me. The sun is so bright, no one can even see the sunshine out there. That's okay. I know you and Mike do a great job up there and work wonders with people. So
there we go.
Found it. Hey, give everyone your intro and welcome. Thanks for doing this today.
Yeah. So I was chuckling because you said some coaches hadn't been around since 2008. I launched in the fourth quarter of 2007. And that was back when nobody knew what business coaching was, and people used to ask me if we burned incense in the office and all kinds of weird stuff like that. And kind of the cool thing is that we got to set the market. So we got to set the pricing, we got to set the expectations that there's a real return on this investment. It's not just a nice thing. And we had, for those folks that, that gave us a shot way back when, we had some really good stories to tell about businesses that were truly thriving in industries that were being devastated. So that reputation carries through to us even now, and people trust us. So Brad, you did your first 11 steps to survive and thrive. It seems like a lifetime ago at this point.
It was only 6 weeks ago, almost 6.5. Yeah, 6.5 weeks ago.
Yeah, and we actually the very next day took that out to the marketplace and did that for 2 straight weeks, and then did a week of 90-day cash flow forecasting for this environment, and then a week of getting back to business, and then a week of which pivots are permanent. And it's brought a lot of folks in to see what we do and learn more and get help that we normally wouldn't be able to reach. So big companies and small companies. So that's been actually really productive, and our clients are all they're doing amazing stuff. Like, I'm so proud of them. The pivots are incredible.
Give me one. I love these stories. These are some of the best stories.
So like one of them is an artisanal chocolate company, right? And they're essentially shut down because of all of this stuff, and you can't come into their store and all that kind of thing. And they ended up doing they did curbside Easter bunny deliveries, and they've been doing employee, like, we want you to know how much we care gifts with some of their larger clients that they used to do big events with. And they're up, I think Corey said 288% for March, and another 180% over last year
That's so cool. And now they've got that forever, though. They've now got that forever.
Yeah.
You know, we actually had the same thing. One of the companies that my wife uses for all of our kids' parties, they were like, we don't know what to do. And my wife said, just listen, Brad, can you give them 10 minutes? And I said, okay, Easter's coming up. How many Easter bunny costumes you got? And they said, we got like 4 or 5 Easter bunny costumes. I said, great. You're going to call up all of your greatest customers, and you're going to have the Easter bunny hop through the backyard for all of their kids. And like, they booked out within minutes of announcing this to their customers. We had them come through our backyard, and the Easter bunny came through and left like 100 Easter eggs. And my kids are going, Dad, it's the Easter bunny. So it was so cool. So cool. So coaching for you in this, let's go back to this environment. What's the biggest things that make you successful as a coach pre the environment? And then we'll go into this environment. What's going on? Now, see if anyone's got questions for you. If anyone's got possible questions for Susan, please type them in. I'll bring you off.
Yeah. So pre this, and has always been for me, is making sure that we're making them money. So we guarantee a return on their investment, and that from day one, that was always my we'd get to that monthly finance day, and I'd be sweating it to make sure that I pulled my weight for the month, and always have. So our longest client, I started 12.5 years ago. My longest client's been with me for 12 of those 12.5, and still here, still growing, now making acquisitions and all that kind of stuff.
They're gonna be busy as heck the next 6 months. Acquisitions are gonna be like through the roof the next 6 to 12 months.
And so we knew something was coming, and so we've had people accumulating cash for the last 1.5 years. So they're all
if we can just explain that to everyone, because we know the cycles. We knew we were 8 years into a 7 to 10 year economic cycle. And this is the thing for everyone listening. We debated as a team and as an organization, what is going to turn it negative? And everyone was like, on a global scale, we're thinking, is it Brexit? Is it North Korea? Is it, and then on a US scale, is it the election? What's going to turn it? No one knew what, but we make sure our clients follow that cycle pretty tight.
Yeah. So we wanted 2 things. We wanted rainy day funds, and we wanted money specifically to make acquisitions. So they've all got plenty of cash. They all got their PPP money on top of that. So even the ones that were shut down by law are going to be fine.
Yeah.
And
so within this time frame, getting clients, keeping clients, tell us a bit more about your experience with that, because I think that's important for everybody listening here today.
so Mike and I own a firm. We're building a firm, and so I don't do a ton of coaching anymore. Today's my only coaching day. But
thanks for slotting us in.
well, yeah, I've got 4 minutes. So everybody's gone to virtual at this point, and from a marketing standpoint, it's really been making sure our people are focused on getting people into these web events every single day. We're still running 6 steps and a particular web event to sell into Planning Club.
Right.
Every week.
So how many webinars a week is your team running now?
One for the Milwaukee area, one for the Madison area right now.
Right. And so different subjects every week, different.
Right. Right. And it's, it's what's taking a little longer is that the folks who are coming into some of the COVID related web events don't know us. So it's not a sell from the stage. It's okay, now you've gotten to know us, now come to a 6 steps.
Yeah, I did that in that whole sales thing the other day, that it's taking an extra 3 or 4 steps purely because there's fear and doubt and lack of knowledge in the marketplace. So
so really keeping tabs on, they used to need to generate 2 leads a day per BD person, whether that number is going to hold or whether it needs to increase, but they're getting it. They're getting it easy. People are showing up, people are following up. We've signed 6, 7 clients already this month, which is about half of our normal rate, but they're still coming. I think people are out of.
They're just going to be a bit slower. They're just going to be a bit slower, and I think we've prepped everyone for that, and even our clients, we've had to teach them. Susan, any last words for everyone before I know you have to jump off?
I think the thing, because I do a lot of validation calls with people, and I'm happy if anybody wants to follow up, just give me a shout. And the thing that people always ask me about is why do you stay? Why do you continue? And I continue because this community is it's the most amazing community I've ever been honored to be a part of. Like, people are so abundant, and we as coaches continue to feed into what gets tested and measured and added to the toolbox. It's like having 1,000 cheerleaders around the world, people that genuinely want to see you succeed and will do anything to help. So absolutely amazing, Brad. You've built an incredible culture. Thank you.
Recruit right, and everything works well. Hey, thank you, Susan. Thank you so much for your time today. Say hey to Mike for me.
I will. Thanks, you guys.
Bye, Brad.
Bye now. That's funny. That's funny. Take care, Susan. Bye for now.
Right.
Let me go to another question then. Now my screen's not in the center, so it's like, okay, where is it? Let me go to another question. There was one up here that I saw that I thought was a really one. Sonia brought up a great question. Let me go to Sonia and bring her across on. All right, we got you now. Hey, Sonia, how you doing?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
Very nice. My phone just thought I said, hey, Siri, when I said, hey, Sonia. Stop that. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get to your question. And then Peg is live, so I'll bring Peg on to help answer any questions as well. Peg Burley.
Okay, great. I am here in Atlanta, Georgia. I am a Scrum Master. I had to learn a certification. I had to get a certification for teaching IT teams how to move faster. And so I coach. They pay me a lot of money to go into these companies to coach these teams. And if these teams listen, they actually do excel and do well. So I'm already primed for this. I'm the perfect person for this.
It's funny the number of people that say to me, everything I've done has led me to this.
Everything I've done has led me to this.
So your question is an interesting one, and I think I might get Peg to try and help answer it for me. Can you just verbalize it for everybody listening today, what it is that you want to know about?
Okay, definitely will. But I did want to say that it was really funny how you said it's hard for you to keep a job. So that's me also. Even though I do lots of contracts, it's, I tell people exactly how it is, and sometimes they don't like it. And then also the virtual thing. As a coach, I do virtual training all the time. So I'm already on board with it. I already know that that works. I can do everything from home. So, okay. So my question is, other than being outgoing, well, I don't have a problem with that at all. What's the biggest challenge with a new coach having to get started? Like, that was one of the things I wanted to talk to many of the coaches to find out in the very beginning.
I'm going to get Peg to answer that after I get my answer. My answer is simple. The biggest challenge is getting them to actually follow the system, because a lot of them, and a lot of people see, people who come to us, we want people who are self-starters. We want people who have great business knowledge and background. And therefore, when they come to us, a lot of the times what they want to do is change things, edit things, add things, do stuff to it. And it's like, no, why pay me for a great system and then not use it? It's like, so that's probably the biggest challenge right in the beginning for us, is getting people to use it. Let me get Peg, and Peg, could you just give everyone your quick intro? How you doing? Good to see you. Haven't spoken to you in the last couple of weeks. How's everything for you guys?
Good to see you. And it was just so funny when you gave your answer, the audio went out, so I don't know what you had to say on that question. So this will be funny what I say. It could duplicate or not.
If you could just intro yourself first, though, and then give us your answer. Let's see if we said the same thing.
My name is Peg Burley, and we have a firm in Columbus, Ohio, with Pete McDowell, my partner, and we have an employee coach, Michelle Calcasola. We've been doing this for 15 years. Michelle has been our coach, I think now 7 years. I would say we are a thriving coaching practice, reaching goals and growing. And we have a marketing director that works for us. So we're a four
and you guys are on TV all the time.
We're on TV all the time. Yes, we're famous in Columbus, Ohio.
It's very true, people. They are on TV all the time. So Sonia's question, please give us your answer to it, Peg.
Okay, so Sonia, when I work with other coaches or talk to them, the one thing I see is that they're not doing what it takes in order to be successful. So they start coming, they say, I'm going to start my practice, but they're not doing the activities they need to do. They're almost looking at it as, I'm just going to relax a little. If they were working for someone else, they work harder than they are for themselves. So they're not putting in the learning, and they're not putting in the activity to get market and to sell.
Excellent. Okay. Well, I gave a totally different answer.
Either one of those. I don't have a problem with either one of those. I like to follow everything by the book. I am a high I, but a D, also task oriented. And I am also will do all of the work.
Good.
So again, I'm primed for this.
Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you. If I can, I'm going to bring up John for just a second here for a question. But Peg, if I can just ask you a question. A lot of the questions I'm seeing here about support from the organization. Can you just give us a bit of your thoughts on the support from both the master franchise and the global organization, and just the team, I guess, so all three areas of support?
Okay, yes. So I want to talk about when I first started. I'm going to talk about my mindset and then what happened. When I first became a coach, I remember the first workshop I was going to do, other coaches said, I'll do that with you. I'll do that with you. And I had this master licensee that kept calling me. And I thought, well, what in the heck do these people, why are they helping me? I can do it on my own. I literally said that. Like, why is everybody calling me? I don't need this help. I'm sort of a driven kind of person. I didn't think I needed anyone. I was so wrong. I was just so wrong. And I didn't realize how important having a community is. So at that point, I want to just tell you, our ML is phenomenal, helps us constantly, especially when we first started doing coaching calls. We provide resources. We have calls every week to help new coaches. We also do workshops together, 90-day plans together, virtual training together. Like, we have a coach in Cincinnati that's a new coach. I brought him up because he speaks Spanish. I work with a builder who has a drywaller who only speaks Spanish. I brought him up and said, can you please coach this person, because I can't, but they need help. So that's Gonzalo, who's a new coach. And now I've got him going and helping me in Virginia with another builder doing the same thing. we as a community are here with one purpose, and it's to help the business owners succeed. And whatever it takes and to make that happen, we do that, and we do that by helping each other. And then there's all these resources, like Brad alone, all of the resources during this pandemic that you have provided us to help provide to our team has helped us really help them. And we are the go-to person, there's no doubt about it, to these business owners.
Well, I love that answer. I love that answer. I'm also going to bring John off, and I'm going to get John to ask his question. John, Paul, there it is. John, I got you off mute. Are you there, buddy? John, are you there? I'm not getting sound from you. Let me type it. Let me just read his question to you then, because he's not getting sound. Peg, is it possible to make becoming a coach more real for those who've never coached or trained before? Does that make sense, the question?
More real than?
More, give them some meat around the bones. What does your day look like? What does it look like being a coach? How does coaching sessions work and that sort of thing? Just the day-to-day stuff, I guess.
I can. So first of all, I want to talk about those of you who might be super aggressive and say, I can do this on my own. I don't need any help. Oh, hello.
Sorry, I just had to put my camera.
Oh, is that okay? I can keep talking.
I just turned my light on because I noticed it getting dark in here.
Okay, so the reality of it is that, and I'm stealing your words, Brad, because you said it at one training class, and I've said it to every single person in Discovery, is your first year is you're an apprentice. And you've got to look at it as being an apprentice. I remember my first month, I expected to be the top coach in the world, month 1 and 2. I couldn't figure out why I wasn't. I think that the reality of it is when you're first coming on, you're going to need to learn and invest a lot in the learning. And if even before you come on, you're just going to learn, you're going to read, and you're going to consume as much as you can. At the same time, you're going to be networking like crazy. You're going to be getting out 3 to 5 times a week. You're going to get your name out there. You're going to start practicing your workshops immediately. Workshops is going to be critical for success. So you're doing workshops, you're going to be doing webinars, you're going to be doing networking, and you can do all of this virtually. But heck, I'm still doing it all virtually. In fact, doing it virtually has been better than in person. I'm just saying, this whole virtual thing has helped us. It's a lot better. I have people coming up to workshops more than in webinars now than they did ever before. So, so your day is like that. So initially you're going to be learning and marketing and signing up for one-on-one conversations or group conversations. And then you're going to create partnerships too, making sure you have some great strategic alliances. And you're going to be starting to build your funnel is what you're going to do. And at the same time, building your knowledge. Is that what you were looking for?
I think that's great. You know, on a day-to-day basis, coaching, how many clients do you coach now, Peg, versus like over the period of time? Because are you doing as many now or less now than you used to because of the firm? Which way are you going?
So I actually, right before the pandemic, I started backing down a little bit more and gave Michelle, my employee coach, more clients. And so we're real proud of her because she kept them all through this pandemic. So she has not lost any. So right now we coach 40. We have 40 clients. I'm coaching. I have to look because some are on pause right now. I'd say I'm coaching about 10 right now, where I was up to 20, 22 clients.
Yeah, and I think it's the transition from the low value clients through to the high value clients and all of that sort of stuff. Maybe give people a little bit of an understanding of that, because in the beginning you take on any level value client, and as you get to be the firm partner and you add more coaches, the coaches take on that lower level. If you could just explain how you guys did that.
That's dead on exactly what happened. So what we do is we're coaching, let's say it's a retailer, it's a very large retailer that we're coaching multiple executives, and you're looking at an average dollar sale of about $8,000 a month. So we're doing a higher level, that kind of executive, higher businesses. And then what we did with, for example, we had a strategic alliance that is one of our clients, and they brought in all their vendors, and we did a vendor day for them. And we positioned Michelle as the coach. Even though this is my client, been my client for 7 years, we said, Michelle is going to be your coach for all the vendors, like the roofer, the drywaller, the painter. So she picked up all those clients. This has all happened right before the pandemic. And of course, we had made it feel comfortable for the client to feel comfortable with Michelle before we did that. It was an easy transition. Like if I wasn't going to coach for the week, I'd say, hey, Michelle, take over that coaching session. So she would periodically do my coaching session so that they would get to know her, so that if I transitioned it, they would feel comfortable with her. And as I grew, I could hand off leads to her.
Yeah, 100%. Excellent. I think that gives people a bit of a fundamental core. So if you were to look at, no one's answered this question for me yet, and if you could, and then I got to hand it over to Don because I got to run. But if you could just answer the culture of our organization and the vision of our organization, what does that mean to you as part of the team?
So I want to say that it is so critical, the culture, because I feel like I'm trying to duplicate the culture of Action Coach nationally or globally in my little region. And what it is, it's about us supporting each other. It's about educating each other. It's about being there for each other. And it's about growing and growing quickly for every coach and every to success for every client, and doing it in a way where you're not alone. And I have to go back to when I started this, I thought, well, why do I need all these people? I can do it on my own. You need all these people. You just need, you do. And I'll tell you what, I've been around for 15 years. It's because I have a community. And Pete and I look at each other and we go, my Lord, we would never be still doing this unless we had this. Unless we had the community as well as the resources. There's no way we could have survived all the 2008 and the pandemic and all that stuff. You're not alone. It's critically important during this time.
Yeah, this one's an interesting downturn. It's going to be all I'm seeing from all the economists, and they're usually the most dourest, sour group of people. I'm seeing V-shaped recovery based on a whole bunch of different things, but yeah, I'm liking seeing some states start opening, and so if only our Nevada here would start opening.
We did. I don't know if you know, Ohio started opening.
Yeah, and it's like all these states starting to open, so it's a good thing. Peg, thank you so much. Say hey to Pete for me. Take care, you guys. Thanks for all the work you're doing, helping the business owners up there. I really appreciate it, and keep going on TV. I love watching your segments.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you, Peg. Mr. Shin, I'm going to have to hand it over to you as it's time for me to get on to another. We got to prep for a webinar that I start in 10 minutes with a bunch of business owners in Turkey. So it's I'm going to teach the other side of the planet. Let me bring you off mute so that you are actually you're self-muted. Sorry, Don, I can't.
There we go.
There you go. I will hand it over to you for any further questions from anybody. Listen, everybody, if I can just finish out by a couple of quick things. Number one, our organization is designed to help business owners. It's designed to help them. You are going to be a business owner, so guess what? Our organization is designed to help you. So that's what it's going to be. And if you join us, phenomenal. If you don't, if you start another business, guess what? You're going to have to hire us, okay? So that's the way the world works. We got you one way or the other. You're either going to work with us and be on our team, or you're going to work with us and be one of our clients. So whatever business you get into. But anyway, take care right now. Stay safe. Stay sane. Any of you that are homeschooling and kids, I'm not sure if you noticed, my 6-year-old daughter came running in there in that last segment. I'm like, Daddy's on a call. The typical Zoom webinar stuff. Take care, everybody. Bye for now. Don, over to you.
Thanks, Brad. All right, gang. Well, we had about 75 minutes planned. So, and I don't see, unfortunately, I don't have Brad's full control panel. So, is there, I know we still have some MLs on the call. Peg, I'm not sure if Peg's still with us, but if there is a final question, we'll be happy to field it with the masters and myself, or Ken Zelazny. Ken's a franchise owner as well still. So any final questions? Anybody pull themselves off mute and we'll field a final question. All right, I am going to take that as a no. Thank you all for investing your time with us. We appreciate it. Your business development folks, your franchise development folks, or your MLs will be back in touch, I'm sure. And we look forward to helping you through your journey and your decision-making process. And wish you all be safe, be well. Thanks very much.